statues crumble for me.
Hey, would you say the 1 week thing?
What?
1 week. Bare naked ladies. I know you can do it.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Oh, you down watch a hoodwink to make you stop think? You think you're looking at Aquaman? I summon fish to the dish, although I like the chili sweet, I like the sushi, because I never touch a frying pan. Hot like wasabi when I bust rhymes, like the end rhymes, because I'm all about value. Burnt can't first got the mad hits. You try to match wits. You try to hold me let a bust through. Make and break and make it fake it like a steak and naked shake it like vanilla. It's the finest of the flavors. It's usual because you know the vertigo is gonna go, so it's dangerous. You had to sign a waiver. Can't help it if I think you're funny when you're mad. Trying hard not to smile, though I feel bad. I'm the kind of guy that laughs at a funeral. Can't understand what I mean. We soon will have a tendency to wear my mind on my sleeve. I have a history of taking off my shirt. Ads, man. I really don't know the chorus.
It's been 1 week.
Well, yeah, but there's
Since
like
you looked at me.
yeah, but I know like all the other fun parts, like the chickadee China from Chinese chicken. You have a drumstick and your brain stops sticking. Watch the next Files with no lights on, or Dollar Maze on. I hope the Smoky Man said that's one like Harrison for them getting frantic. They sting them tantric. The stinker's guaranteed to satisfy. Like Kurosawa, I make mad film. I don't make films, but if it did, it'd have a samurai. To get set up by the comes another kind with tying ups and on my arms, I'm always flying off the backswing. Getting to one Sailor Moon is that cartoon got the boom anime babes. Like maybe doing the wrong thing.
Look at him go.
Oh,
And all recorded too.
did you really?
I did.
Are we just gonna start the episode with that?
Maybe or finish it.
Let's just start the episode with that. Yes, you have hopped into probably the most awkward intro of the Retro Smash Gaming Podcast. We're two old
It was
friends.
only awkward for you.
It was really awkward for me because I didn't really have any music. I just had to go by memory. You're like, will you just sing it? And I was actually gonna like use that as your introduction too. I was gonna say the man sitting across from me, the man who summons fish to the dish, although he likes the chalet Swiss, he likes the sushi because he never touched a frying pan. But now I gotta think of something. Oh, I got something else.
This is the Retro Smash Gaming Podcast, wherever you are, wherever you may be listening. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. You can hit us up on Twitter at retro_smash, where you can get the link to our Discord channel as well. I am Weldy Time. You can hit me up on Twitch Sunday through Thursdays around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The gentleman sitting across from me, the man, the myth, the legend, the man who likes to do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
Do you know that dance? I can do that dance.
I know you can. Well, you're a 90s kid like I am. Get horny now. This is already off to a fantastic start. We're leaving this all in, by the way. Right, we're leaving this all. We're gonna leave it in from the point where you asked me to sing 1 week by Bare Naked Ladies.
I'll chop it up and clean it up a little
Which,
bit.
by the way, is like everybody has their one go-to karaoke song at like a karaoke contest or something. That is mine.
Yeah,
Because nobody else can fucking do it.
So what are we talking about today?
We
I don't
are.
know. What are we talking about today? Oh, we haven't done that in a minute.
I was gonna ask. Oh, that is true. So, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about controversial games.
Yes, with a very uncontroversial intro, apparently.
Yeah, it was excellent, and nobody would think otherwise.
That's exactly right. But I do have another game with you, and it's a game that kind of goes.
Oh, we're just jumping straight into it.
Yeah,
No banter or anything?
yeah, no, that was our banter. I just sang 1 week by the Bare Naked Ladies for like all thousands of our listeners. I don't know. I can't count that high. I'm going to assume it's thousands and thousands. Thank you all for listening. But yeah, I'm just jumping straight into this.
Let's,
Zero fucks given.
Did you see the new Metroid trailer that dropped yesterday?
I have watched them all, and they make me equally horny. I cannot wait.
Dude, it looks so fucking good.
I cannot wait for that game.
So good.
Here's the thing that I'm kind of curious about that game. Like, because I speedrun Super Metroid, I'm already thinking, is there ways you can I haven't even played the game yet. And I'm already thinking, is there ways I can sequence break this game already?
I hope so.
They almost have to.
Yeah, because if not, it's just gonna be another Metroidvania. Nah, I don't want to say that. That's not fair. But like we talked about in our last episode, that's what makes Super Metroid so good.
Right. Just the little things you can find in the game.
Yeah, just by doing shit you're not supposed to do.
Right.
But that was also probably a product of its time as well.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you ever watch, like, the world record progression for that game. Like, it starts at like 2 hours, then goes out to like an hour and a half, then an hour 15, then an hour, then like 55 minutes. Then
yeah, that's
50
probably
minutes.
true for most games.
Yeah, but it's just like the more they find, like being able to do a mock ball, you know, being able to do moonfall, being able to do a high suitless lava dive, which I don't know if that's really 100% needed, like any percent. That's more for like randomizers, which that's something I want to talk about when we do.
Anyway, let's just nip this in the bud. Otherwise, we're just going to be talking about Super Metroid again.
Oh, I totally could.
But, dude, that Metroid Dread trailer looks so awesome.
Yes. I cannot wait.
Anyway, so you got a game. Let's jump into the game.
I do.
I'm excited because you said it's guaranteed that I will win this.
I guarantee you will win today.
Oh,
yes.
So much pressure.
Yes. Actually, I won't 100% guarantee. I'll say I'll give you 80-20 odds you'll win this one.
If it's 80%, then that's not a guarantee.
Well, I'm going to help you out with a couple of them. I'm going to help you out in a really, really big way.
Oh, don't do that. No. Give it to me hard.
Well, you know you got to take my dinner first, right?
Dude, if you're giving it to me, then you need to take me to dinner.
That's fair. That's fair. This game this week is going to kind of tie in with our... God damn it, I can't talk. This
good?
No, I'm not good. This game ties in with our subject of controversial video games for this week. So I think you're going to enjoy it, and you have an 80-20 chance of winning. All right, you ready?
Nope.
All right, let's do it. Is it this or is it that? Eric has to choose. Isso or aquilo. You ready?
What the fuck was that?
It was this or that in Portuguese.
Nice. We're going to pretend that you said that right.
Isso or aquilo. All right, here we go. Your category for this week: finisher or finish him. I'm going to give you a list of items. You have to tell me if every item on the list is either a WWE finisher or a WWE finishing move or signature move, or a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Okay.
I'm giving you 80-20 odds on this.
Okay.
Are you ready? All right.
You better throw me some softballs. Which is bigger, a baseball or a softball?
I am still so pissed you got that question in Trivial Pursuit. To this day, you son of a bitch. I'm getting questions about like a certain like second king of Portugal's fucking autobiography, Cambadija, and you're getting which is bigger, softball or baseball?
Yep.
I hate you so much.
All right, number one.
Number one, direct current.
Direct current.
Direct current.
Raiden, he's got electricity, right?
He might.
Okay, so that could be a finishing move in Mortal Kombat. And I don't know any WWE fighters who use electricity. So I am going to go Mortal Kombat.
You would be correct, and it is used by Raiden.
Nice.
In Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
Nicely done. Number two, Swanton Bomb.
Swanton Bomb. I am fairly certain this is a WWE move. I don't know who does it, but...
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy, the Swanton Bomb.
What is a Swanton?
It's basic. It's the Swanton. What is it? Swanton or a Swanton Bomb?
No, what's the Swanton?
I don't know.
I know the wontons. With the little chips. Wonton chips? Or strips?
The wontons.
Wonton strips.
Did you ever see that TikTok where it was like the episode of Chopped and the chick was running in the kitchen and she was like, and I realized I forgot to take out the wontons, and it cuts to the judge going, oh, the wontons.
No. Not the wontons.
He was all white. He goes, oh, the wontons.
I'm 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Best start ever.
Nice. Number 3, Hell's Gate.
Hell's Gate. Oh, this seems a little too on the nose. So
On the nose for which? For which one?
well, so it seems a little too on the nose. Like Mortal Kombat wouldn't be that direct, but WWE is, staged and faked. So I feel like they probably do more stuff on the nose a little bit. So I'm gonna go WWE finishing move.
Excellent line of thinking, because you are correct. The Hell's Gate is the Undertaker's submission.
Okay. I thought the Undertaker.
Yeah,
It
because
just makes sense.
you've got his Tombstone pile driver.
Yep.
But not a lot of people knows he has a submission move too.
I did not know that.
Yeah, there you go.
But it made sense to me.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I lied to you. Number 1 was Raiden. You did get that correct. But that was his finisher in Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh,
not
okay.
2. Number 4. Explosive uppercut.
I'm just gonna go with my gut here and say Mortal Kombat.
You would be correct again.
Because that's the move in Mortal Kombat. I'm not good at the fighting games, but I know the uppercut. It's powerful. I try to land it every 3 fucking seconds.
And you get the toasty.
Toasty.
Yes, this one was done by Raiden in Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
This was Mortal Kombat 2. All right. Number 5. And this is probably my personal favorite on this list. And the award goes to...
Oh. I'm kind of getting in my head now because I'm just thinking how I'm 4 for 4. And I'm thinking about pitching that perfect game.
Don't say it. No, you said it.
I know.
You said it.
In the award. So I'm trying to think like kind of meta on this.
Mm-hmm.
And the award goes to. So, God, I don't know. All the other ones I feel like I could kind of just figure it out by using different forms of logic.
Sure.
Let's go WWE.
It is a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Damn.
And I say it's
Do you get it like a trophy?
Yes.
Oh,
now, it is Johnny Cage's fatality in Mortal Kombat 9, where he basically karate chops your head in half. He takes an Oscar trophy and says, and the award goes to, and he plants it in the valley where your head is now split in half. And it is hysterically funny.
Okay. Dude, that seems awesome.
It is very awesome.
I'm going to say that I'm going to watch a video on that and probably not end up doing it. So I'll forget. But I'm going to watch a video on that because that sounds awesome.
It's really funny. Number 6, Trouble in Paradise.
Trouble in Paradise. I don't think there's much paradise in Mortal Kombat, so it's got to be a WWE move.
It is. It is a WWE move by arguably the greatest Royal Rumble contestant of all time, Kofi Kingston.
Oh, yeah. That's past my time.
Oh, I guess you're a 90s wrestling kid.
Yep, WWE.
Give me a hell yeah, Brahma Bull.
Sweet Chin Music. Suck it, son.
Mm-hmm.
I just hit the mic trying to do.
Every kid in elementary school got in trouble for doing the suck it sign.
Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
He was my favorite.
Shawn Michaels was a badass.
I cried when he got hit by that limo, got kicked out of DX. I literally had tears running down my face.
I had tears when he did that retirement match against Ric Flair.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Well, I think it was at one of the
I guess I was a pretty shitty fan.
It was one of the WrestleManias, I think, and they were doing a retirement match where whoever lost had to retire, obviously. And Ric Flair was getting up, and Michaels was in the corner, and he said, that was one where he said, "I'm sorry, I love you," and then hit Ric Flair with the Sweet Chin Music.
Okay.
All right, so you've missed one so far. Number 7, the final one. You're going for the perfect game. You didn't get it. Let's go for the no hitter instead. Number 7, Razor's Edge.
Dude, that's a WWE move. Is it not?
That is actually both.
Oh, okay.
It is actually both.
Nice.
It is
a curveball in there.
It is. It is the submission move by Razor Ramon, and it is a finisher either earlier in the Mortal Kombat games for Kung Lao.
He was my fighter. Doing the bicycle kick and all that.
You're thinking Liu Kang.
Oh, okay.
Kung Lao was
Kung
another
Lao.
was one of the
Who
two
was
with the
that?
hat. He had the hat.
The one
He was with the Shao. Yeah, he was for the Shaolin. He did the teleport. But I mean, I played as him. I played as him too. Played as him or Sub-Zero. But see, look at that! I told you were going to win today. Round of applause. Cue up the Price is Right music.
Take my bow.
I gotta start giving you like prizes when you win. Like I think I got like a.
You absolutely should.
Like I have like an old shitty copy of like Godzilla on Super Nintendo.
I would take it.
I'll start buying like 50-cent games that are like, you know, John Madden Football 93 or something.
I probably would not take that.
What if it's signed by me?
I would take that.
Here we go. Put it up on the wall.
I will frame that. Get it graded by Wada.
Wada.
Were you keeping up with the group chat yesterday?
Kind of.
Talking about Wada? Because Espo had no idea about that.
No.
All that shit.
Oh, I knew what you were talking about, where it was basically it was like they're scamming the prices for their...
Yeah, they were like in cahoots with Heritage Auctions, where I think employees of one of the companies was buying the graded games, at ridiculous prices and, you know, trying to grow the market that way. I don't know that I could speak too much on it, but I know it at a very base level. Just know that Wada is kind of scammy.
Well, it sucks because, like, if you went to any used video game store about 7-8 years ago, you couldn't give away Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Like, you could walk in with a $100 bill and walk out with probably 12 to 13 really good games and maybe like one $20 to $30 game. You could walk out of there with a stack. Now you can't do that anymore. Like, I remember I walked into our local video game store and I think I took like $70-$80. I think I walked out with Castlevania 4, Mario Kart, a copy of Super Mario World. Like, it was a different time. And you just can't do that anymore.
No.
And it sucks.
Yeah, the prices...
They're back up again.
Yeah.
And it's bullshit.
I mean, especially on certain systems. GameCube.
Well, it every 3 to 4 to 5 years, it like the next gen up, it really does increase the price.
Yeah, I would be interested to see how over time a system's value rises and falls. Because I know you can get 360 games for cheap right now.
Oh, yeah.
So in time, you know, one would think that the prices would increase.
Do you think they would increase? Because, I mean, the 360 is now 2 gens behind the most current system. Like, it's now officially 2 generations back.
I think that certain games will increase, and now is the time to buy those games.
Right, yeah.
What games are they?
Like,
exactly?
Like Halo 3, probably?
I think that Halo 3 and a lot of those other games like that,
like the Gears of War. You're talking
they're
the ones
probably more mass produced. Like, you want to find the limited runs, like the cult following type games. I think that's where the value is really going to be at later.
Here's the problem with that, though. And I agree with you on a certain sense about that. But a lot of those games, like, we're going to take, like, I'm just going to just throw out Grand Theft Auto 4. Okay? I'm just going to throw that out there. And, okay, let me give you a good example. Grand Theft Auto 4 was probably created by itself for 360. I'm going to take a wild guess and say it was recreated for the 1. It was made for the PS3, PS4, PC. So that's 5 different systems it was made for.
Yeah.
Now, let's take, like, okay, what about Aladdin or Lion King? That it was just made for 2 consoles. It wasn't just primarily 1 console, but it was a cross-console game. Like, they made one for the Genesis, they made one for the Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does that, the more consoles it's made for, does it water down its price because it's easily, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, is it because it's more readily available? Like, even if I wanted a copy of, if I wanted a sealed copy of GTA 4, And I played it as a kid on the 360. As a kid, like 10 years ago. I played it on, and I found a sealed copy of it in a local video game store for the PC for like $10. Is that going to be equal in price 30 to 40 years from now as to when that was on a console?
I think that it really depends on the time, the time that you're removed from when that game was popular. When you're talking about like sealed games, just because, if you find a copy of GTA 4 sealed right now, okay, it's probably not that hard to find.
Right.
You talk 40 years from now, it's going to be more rare.
But you were also just saying, like, when you're saying 360 games are going to increase in price, and I threw out Halo and Gears of War. That was just more,
like, mass produced.
Yeah, but is it just, are they going to be more just because it was mass produced, but it was mass produced for one system as opposed to having to be mass produced for 5?
I think there's a lot of factors in play. If you, I would think, okay, if you just want to do a 1-to-1 comparison of a game that was exclusive on a console versus a game that was on 5 consoles, and you wanted to take a sealed copy of it 40 years from now, the exclusive game is going to be more rare because there's not as many copies of it. So it's going to be more valuable. But in the general scheme of things, a more mass-produced game like Halo isn't probably going to be worth as much as a game that wasn't as mass-produced as
what you're running into with the GameCube, like the Metroid Prime games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think those were very mass-produced, but those are really hard to find and they're really damn expensive.
No, because not a lot of people bought any of the Metroid games. I don't think they've topped 5 million in sales, have they?
I bought Other M at my local video game store, and that game sucked. That game was awful. I thought I had a steal. I bought that for $12. I'm like, Metroid game on the Wii for $12? Yeah, I'm gonna buy this. Man, that game fucking sucked.
Now, how do you feel about? Are you just happy to have it though? Put in a new collection.
Kind of. I mean, like, it's like I said, once I get past... I was talking with somebody about this on stream. Like, they asked what my favorite Castlevania game was. And I said, well, once I get past Super Castlevania 4 and Symphony of the Night, my knowledge for the rest of the series kind of goes downhill. Much is the same for Metroid. Once I get past Super Metroid and maybe a little bit of the original Castlevania.
Original Metroid.
Or, I'm sorry, in the original Metroid.
Uh-huh.
Which I didn't really like, and I wasn't good at.
So it's just Super Metroid, and this is going to degrade to a Super Metroid podcast.
Apparently.
We just need to do an episode on it.
But it's like, I find my niche in a certain series. It's like when we discussed what you think the most perfect game is, and you said Mario Kart 8.
I would put Super Metroid on there.
Really?
I just
okay, we gotta stop talking about Super Metroid.
Okay, let's just jump into our main topic.
No, well, hold on a second, because you're talking about, like, Mario Kart 8, where I like Super Mario Kart. Like, my knowledge for the Mario Kart series doesn't really go past Super Mario Kart, because Super Mario Kart's my niche.
Now, is it that you find something and you don't want to give, like... So you found Super Mario Kart, and you feel like if you liked another Super Mario Kart, it would take away from your experience. Or, I'm sorry, if you found another Mario Kart game that you liked, it would take away from your experience of Super Mario Kart. So you found the perfect game for you in the series, and you shut out everything else.
I think my standards get too high. I think my standards got way high with Other M, because I was expecting it to be...
Super Metroid?
Yeah, to be Super Metroid, and it wasn't.
And nothing Super Metroid. We're finding that. I'm finding that out.
It was like when I went to go see Avatar.
I liked Avatar.
Jesus Christ, that was 3 hours of my life I'll never get back. And then we went to Olive Garden afterwards. I had calamari and I threw it up. Now you know that story. we sat in the third row the week before Christmas. Fucking sat and just looked straight up. I looked for alien titties the entire time, saw nothing. 3 hours. That movie blew. And then we went to go to Olive Garden. I tried the calamari. It was delicious. It made me deathly sick. There. there's my, but I didn't like it because everybody hyped it up for me a lot. And I think I hyped it up for myself, and I think that's why I didn't like it. And I think I do the same for other games in series.
I think that's your personality. Like, you
Stick
stay
with
away from
the unknown.
No, I was going to say you stay away from the highly hyped stuff.
I do. And then I try it, and then I'm disappointed.
It's a controversy.
It is. Much like all the games we're getting ready to talk about.
Hey.
That's how you do that.
Nice.
What would you say? Let's open this up here. What would you say is the most controversial game you've ever played?
So, I think that really depends on who you're asking.
Oh, I'm asking you, you son of a bitch.
That's a good point.
What is the most controversial game you have ever played? And like maybe you didn't think it was controversial. Is it okay? First things first. Is it controversial or controversial?
I say controversial.
Is it controversial?
I don't know what it is. I'm just telling you what I say.
Oh, that's fair. What's the most controversial game? Maybe you didn't think it was controversial at the time, but then you read about it later and you're like, oh my god, there's a lot of people that are pissed off because this game was made. Or that this game really exists on the market.
Just off the top of my head, I'd say either San Andreas for hot coffee or Manhunt.
Time out. Did you get the San Andreas before it was modded?
I don't know, because I never, we were still pretty young. I think I was, 13, 14 when I was playing it.
Okay.
So I never fucked with any of that. Yeah, it's got to be that or Manhunt off the top of my head.
Okay.
What about you?
I think one, and I streamed this the other day, and I said to myself, like, man, this game really didn't age well, and I don't know why people found this controversial. I don't understand. I played the original Doom.
So, that was a different time.
Exactly.
It was.
And that's why I think I'm just like, I did like a head tilt looking at it, because it wasn't like Wolfenstein. You're going to kill Hitler. You're killing Nazis. You can understand why that might rub some people the wrong way.
But it shouldn't.
Well, I know it. I know it shouldn't. But you can understand how that concept might be a little touchy, or at least that subject might be a little touchy for people. Doom, I didn't see where it was controversial at all.
It was probably just like the shooting in it, right?
And I think that's what got people upset with it. Because you think about games like that, mid-90s shooters, there's three that come to mind. There's Doom, there's Wolfenstein, there's Duke Nukem. Okay, so just those three are just a trio of, in news reporters' eyes, that's a trio of bad news. You can understand why Wolfenstein might be controversial. You can, with the excessive nudity in Duke Nukem, you can understand why that might be controversial. I never understood why Doom was controversial. Is it just because it was like the first person shooter that really, like, people didn't really raise a stink about GoldenEye, did they?
I don't think so.
See, I don't think so either. And that's where I'm playing that now, 25 years later, and I'm like, I don't see the appeal. I don't understand what's going on here.
I listened to a book a few months back called Jacked.
Okay.
And it was a story about Grand Theft Auto.
Okay.
And in the book, they brought up this attorney, Jack Thompson, and he was this attorney back in the 90s, where he really, really went after the video game industry, trying to get all these shooters out. And
let me call a 10-second timeout. Was this before or after Columbine? Because now that I go back and I think about it some more, I know why Doom might be controversial, but it wasn't. I don't think it was controversial when it was initially released. I know why it was controversial later on, and I think that's the point I was trying to convey. Like, just purely, if you didn't know like Columbine existed, or if you didn't know that happened, you may play Doom and be like, "Oh, this is an action-packed shooter. Great music, great graphics at the time."
So this attorney, Jack Thompson, he had cases where he argued like Doom, Quake, and Mortal Kombat trained a boy who ultimately went into school and shot several students. That's pretty heavy shit.
It's very heavy shit, yeah.
So, in one aspect, I could commend him for trying to eliminate that stuff from happening.
Right.
But I do not believe that those types of video games do that to somebody. And the court ultimately, I think, like sided with my view of thinking. There was no link found, and if there is, man, that's really hard to prove.
It's a stretch, you know. It's the old joke. If video games make people violent, then SimCity's gonna make me an architect.
Yeah, I've never heard that, but
it's funny, but it's true. But
probably a civil engineer.
And there we go. The old joke about civil engineers, you know, people start talking after your 8th bridge falls down. But
and this Jack Thompson, you know, he had, like I said, he was brought up in that book, so he was going after Rockstar with GTA and the hot coffee scandal. I brought up Manhunt earlier, and there was a boy in the UK who was killed. Jack Thompson was representing the boy's family, and he was arguing that the game Manhunt was a big driver in what caused the boy to kill the other boy. They said it was one of the killer's favorite games, and it was found in his bedroom and all this. What they later found out is it was actually one of the victims' games that was found in the bedroom, so there was no link found in that case.
Is that just an isolated incident, though?
It really probably is.
It feels like it. Like, it feels like that's something that, you know, if one person out of 25,000 that play this game gets affected, you know, mentally by something like this, then they can do that. Well, around the same time, I don't know if you've seen the movie. It's my favorite Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show.
Okay.
The Truman Show was a phenomenal movie, and it's got its funny aspects. But the Truman Show caused a whole bunch of people to go to like therapists because they suddenly had this feeling that they were on a giant television show. Like their life was a big. Have you ever seen the Truman Show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they would go to therapists, and after watching this movie, they now had this immediate thinking that they were on, like, their life wasn't real. Like, they're just on a television show and everything is planned for them. But nobody says Truman Show is controversial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why is it the opposite for video games? Why does it not work that way for video games?
I mean, the obvious, like, nobody died from that. But you know what I'm really stuck on?
Yeah, that's fair.
What I'm really stuck on is the Truman Show's your favorite Jim Carrey movie?
Oh, yeah. I love the Truman Show.
It's good, but I mean, Bruce Almighty.
I mean, yeah, you got Ace Ventura, Liar Liar, you know, Yes Man, but it's just a totally different role played by him.
I liked him in number 23.
And I knew that you were going to bring that up when I said a different role played by him. What was another one? Because, I mean, every funny actor's got a movie that, you know... Oh, he also did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was a very good movie. But yeah, and we're talking here with controversial games. These are all... I don't want to, water it down, but I kind of feel like they're just isolated incidents with a lot of these. Like, did a lot of people get affected by Mortal Kombat? Were a lot of people personally affected by Doom? Or was it just high-ranking government officials throwing a fit because something bad happened and they wanted something to blame it on?
It's an easy target.
Which is really funny because now one of the biggest video games out there still, you know, it's been in the top, you know, 5 games for the past 7 to 8 years. Fortnite.
I mean, yeah, and you're going around shooting people.
Yeah, but it's not bloody. It's not gory. It's a big party. You're on a party bus. There's music. You're dropping in by a parachute. You're building ramps. It's a whole big colorful experience. There's no blood. There's no gore. But
And that's what they did to Mortal Kombat. Nintendo did Mortal Kombat.
And that sucked. You couldn't sell me. That was sweat. You couldn't sell that to me.
Well, I mean, if you were a Nintendo kid, like, you didn't know any different.
I guess that is true. I mean, that's why the Sega version outsold it 3-1.
Is that true?
I think so. It was great.
The Sega version was part of the reason they made the ESRB.
That is, yes, which adults to this day still live on.
You're right. That Night Trap and Lethal Enforcer.
I was going to say, I'm looking here. I never played the Night Trap game.
No, I don't think a lot of people did. But it was there was actual recorded video on it.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it, vampire aliens would come and kidnap this woman, and just the depiction of the violence against women being part of the reason. Then Lethal Enforcer was a game where I believe you played a cop in a crime spree, but it came with a gun. So I think, people didn't like the fact that you were playing with a toy gun.
Right. This one, I'm looking at a list here. Custer's Revenge. I have played this. I never had the physical copy, but I played it on a ROM. You basically play as a naked General Custer who I don't want to use. I'm trying not to use the RAPE word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say it out loud. A bound Native American woman while getting shot at by arrows.
Oh, I read about this.
And it was made for the Atari 2600. That was one of the very first ones.
I don't know why people hate these types of games. They think it's okay.
Yeah, Replay.
Mm-hmm.
That's no. You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you're doing there. But I mean, the Grand Theft Auto series, I'm going down this list here.
Shit like that, you can't do that. It's fucked up. Don't do shit like that.
Right. But then, you got Grand Theft Auto where you're picking up hookers and banging them. And eventually in GTA 4 where you're going into strip clubs. Yeah, I can see. And then you had the hot coffee mod. That's where you get this kind of gray area when it comes to controversial games. Because it's if you're an adult and you can play games that are edgy like that, then why can't you play them? Now, obviously, you're not going to be playing games like Replay or anything. That's right. What that's ridiculous. But if you can stand it, if you have the mentality for it, and that's why I want if you have the mentality for it, I think that's one thing that lawyers and stuff go after. This kid didn't have the mentality for it, and the ESRB is supposed to be a big deterrent of that. But it's I was playing GTA 3 and Twisted Metal Black when I was 12.
And you turned out decently.
Hey, at this point, I'll take decently.
You haven't killed anybody yet.
True.
So,
yeah.
It's pretty good in my book.
Yeah, so I'm 0 for 0. So, I'm batting 1,000. But it's I can also understand. Now, I can also understand why a game like that would be considered controversial to someone else.
Sure.
Now, whether or not I think that's bullshit, that's my personal opinion.
That's their life experience. They are a little more straight-laced. They do not think that people should be simulating killing people. And I respect that.
Yeah, I can respect that too.
If that's the way they feel, I get it. That's not the life I've lived. I do not think okay, so I was going to say, I do not think that causes people to go out and kill other people, playing violent video games.
Right.
But it can. I think there are some people who are susceptible to that, who think that, they play the video game, they think it's real life, and they go out and do it. I think that, that's a real thing. Now, we're talking about numbers. How often does that happen? I think that is more the edge case.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right.
So how do you regulate something like that?
I mean, like I said, they tried with the ESRB, but I don't know if you really can.
No, because because parents don't give a shit.
And that's what I was going to get at. Parents don't care because there's 7-8-year-olds that are playing Warzone.
But they have the ESRB, and that covers the company's ass.
Well, yeah, I could be 14 years old and give, a random adult $20 to go give me a 12-pack.
Yeah, I totally had that same experience.
Oh, you had an older sister.
Oh, she never bought me anything.
What? She never did?
No.
I thought she did.
You know her.
Oh.
Does that seem like something she would do?
Maybe?
No.
I don't know. But, like, looking down this list here, okay, like, JFK Reloaded is a historical simulation recreating the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and with players taking on the role of assassin Lee Harvey Oswald.
Okay, so let me ask you
Not surprisingly, they condemn the game.
So I got this, like, icky feeling, like when you said JFK Reloaded, because I've heard of the game, I know what it's about. Why do I get that icky feeling with that game? But, like, playing Grand Theft Auto and killing people, I think that's okay.
Because
is it just because you're talking about a specific person?
I think you're right, okay. And I think that's where, like at the beginning, I'm gonna bring this conversation a full circle. I'm doing this right now. Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
Nazis were a real thing. Hitler was a real thing.
Okay, but those were bad people. So
those are bad guys.
Okay to kill them.
Yes.
Do not kill anybody. I'm not endorsing killing of any kind.
Oh my God, do I gotta do this again? The Retro Gaming Podcast does not endorse the killing of others. But yeah, that was like a legit real thing that happened. So you can understand why, even if that's a good thing, we're getting canceled. You know that, right? we're packing this shit up. But you can understand why the subject matter would be controversial to somebody else. Like this, that's why you get that icky feeling, and you stay away from games like that.
With JFK, yeah, but not with Wolfenstein. Like, that dude needed a bullet in his head.
God damn it! I knew you were gonna get.
Can I not? Yes. I mean, I could say that, right?
Yes.
Like what he did. Like, yeah, that motherfucker.
I'm trying. The point I'm trying to make is the connection those kind of games make with historical events causes some people to get whether or not what your beliefs are about real historical figures dying. And of course everybody's going to say, oh well, he doesn't believe in this. Absolutely, but I'm not gonna. I can understand why it would be controversial to somebody else. Like stuff like that, where it's a specific person.
I can with JFK, but
like, what if there's a game about Genghis Khan?
Yeah, he was a pretty fucked up dude.
What if there's a game about?
Are you playing him or killing him?
Either way, that's a controversial person in history. What if you're? Oh, what the hell? What if you're Jim Jones? What if there's a game about Jim Jones?
Yeah.
What if there's a game about Jack the Ripper?
I think even though a case by case thing.
Even though we play a board game based off of Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And that's fun as hell.
And yeah, one of them's playing as Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, and that's fun as hell. But you can understand why that game would be controversial, because that's kind of a controversial thing.
I think it's a case by case thing. Like JFK is not okay. Hitler is okay. Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper are okay.
Well, there's going to be people that are going to think the opposite of that, though. And I think that's where, again, bringing the conversation.
If JFK is okay and Hitler's not okay, then get out of my face. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, there are people that still think that brown cows make chocolate milk. I'm not putting it past anybody. Like, looking down this list, 6 Days in Fallujah.
How's that? I've never heard of that.
Story of a group of U.S. Marines drew heavy criticism from military members after it was announced. Then publisher Konami elected to remove the game from their lineup. Is yet to be released by anybody else.
What's wrong with the game?
Probably it's, unofficial link to current events.
Mm.
That's why something like that is controversial, but maybe like Call of Duty is not, except for no Russian.
So the connection to real life isn't there.
Right. And I think there we go. There's the phrase I was looking for this entire time. The connection to real life. I think that's where people are having a hard time when it comes to video games. Because some people connect stuff like that to real life and some people don't.
The people who are against violence in video games connect it to real life more than the people who actually play it do.
Kingpin Life of Crime. This game proved controversial in part as a first high-profile first-person shooter released after the massacre at Columbine.
But you know what? Why is all this shit about video games, but like movies are some of the most violent things?
And that's what I don't know. I think
John Wick is a badass movie. Kills so many fucking people, and that's okay.
I think that's where people are trying to figure it out because
is it the interactivity?
Video games are. I think so. Video games, I think, are always under attack
because you're actually the one.
You're the one actually doing the action. Yeah, you're the one stabbing the hooker. You're the one shooting the guy in the head. You're the one, chainsawing somebody in half. Mortal Kombat, you're the one removing somebody's spine and head.
You're strangling some dude with a plastic bag.
Yeah.
Or suffocating.
It's shit like that people connect to real life that I think they have an issue with. And then you've got like the other side. You got the other side of the controversial video games for stuff that's like not violent.
What are you talking about? Leisure Suit Larry?
I'm exactly talking
the guy game.
I'm exactly talking those kinds of games. But you can see why, it's a sex game. Okay, but, loaded with lewd humor, sexual innuendo, and a quest to seduce women, the Leisure Suit Larry franchise has always been a magnet for controversy.
Dude, looking and researching for this podcast, America's very lenient compared to other countries.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, there's still... it's like, I wish I would have saved that banned or Canadian game for this time.
That would be a good one, yeah.
That would be a good one for this one. Because, like, some of those games on there, like that Football Manager 2005, that's not banned in America, but it's banned in other countries.
What, that was China because they recognized Hong Kong?
They recognized Hong Kong, and I think it was Hong Kong and Tibet. And it was Tibet and Taiwan. Tibet and Taiwan as their own entities, which goes against the principles of the Chinese government.
Yeah.
We're saying all kinds of fun phrases that the NSA is probably going to email us for. Like, how has any of these had any kind of effect on you or anything? Like, you're not angry. I mean, there's always the joke, like, I'm trying to figure out how I want to put this. Because there's always the joke in the video game community. It's like, you think video games causes violence? No. Like, low internet speed causes violence.
Yeah. Have they affected my life at all in that sense? Is that what you're asking?
That's exactly what I'm asking.
No, I mean, I'm not a violent person. I've played plenty of violent games. I have a healthy disconnection between reality and video games, as I think most people do. And I would assume you're the same.
There's a couple I know that they're not letting their kids get into Pokemon.
Well, if you think about Pokemon, like, you're capturing animals and making them fight.
Well, when you put it in that basic of a sense, wow, okay. Because I was just getting ready to say, I don't care if I show my kids my Pokemon cards eventually, just to share that little nugget of knowledge with them. But now apparently I'm a bad dad. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Kids back in the days played cops and robbers, right?
Right.
And that was okay.
And they played cowboys and Indians.
Like, kids played that and they turned out okay. Like, this is just, video games is the evolution of that. They're still playing shit like that, and it's not affecting them, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, you're not really killing by playing by playing outside and playing pretend, let's say you're playing Army, and you got like 4 kids on one side, 4 kids on the other side, and you're getting ready to go to war, and you got your sticks, and you probably got, maybe some rocks or water balloons or something, yeah, you may stab somebody and they go, ah, oh, and they give you this big Shakespeare death where it's like big and over the top and crazy, and they die, like LARPing, but they're going to get back up. I mean, when you're playing a video game and you saw somebody in half, that person's not going to regenerate. They don't get to respawn. And I think that's what, lawyers in Washington is like. That's where a lot of people aren't making that, where a lot of like kids or impressionable minds aren't making that connection. And I think that's where they're coming at video games, because you're actually doing the thing and you're making that happen.
But you're not actually doing that thing.
Well, we understand you're not doing that thing.
As do kids. I mean, you understand you're not, like, I understood I wasn't actually, when I played Army, I understood that I wasn't actually in the Army.
Right.
Like, you don't think kids have that disconnection?
Most of them do. I don't know. And I think that's where the gray area stands, because there's always going to be people against video games.
And honestly, like, I get it. I understand where they're coming from. Because there are those cases where that does cause people to be violent.
And it's
as does playing Army men.
It's isolated. It's isolated incident. It would be no different than if you watched those things on TV but I can understand how either one can happen, and I think that's where gamers are frustrated.
But you can't take away all violent video games because of a few bad cases.
And that's where I think gamers are trying to come together to make that point. And we can make that disconnect. And if you out there have, anything else you want to add, I have a couple friends that listen to the podcast that like major in like psychology. I kind of want to know what they have to say. I kind of want to hit them up to see if there's anything else we can add. Hit us up on our Twitter page, and we can reopen this discussion at any time, because it's a very good subject. And this is one subject that I was initially excited to talk about, because it's like, oh, controversial video games. I remember the first time I played Mortal Kombat and tore somebody's, body apart. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And now we got into more like a deeper subject. So, if you have any thoughts about any of this, let us know. And we are more than welcome to reopen discussion with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Any closing thoughts?
Not off the top of my head. What about you? Got anything extra you wanted to add?
Play violent video games. Don't be a violent person. Have that disconnect.
Oh, all right. Well,
that'll do us.
That is all the time. So join us next week when Eric is going to teach us how to play the harmonica. See you when we see you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.